Rebecca here from Me to You Paper Crafts. Here's my little sign up at the top for Me to You Paper Crafts. Yes, I'm a Canadian independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I am doing another fun fold. This is for Friday. Today is Thursday and it will be posted for tomorrow. I am into Halloween right now. I love to send out Halloween cards. And so this is the card that I made, and this is the fun fold. Now this actually comes from Rhonda Wade. She called this an accordion card. You can't really tell that it's an accordion card because it's all in the spine. This is where the accordion happens. So I made this Halloween card, and I was really pleased by the way it turned out. I was kind of thinking of a library theme, so with the book DSP, and then you open it up and then you sort of enter this this spooky library. And so that Halloween paper is fantastic because you can actually cut out a lot of the pieces from one of the sheets of DSP. And then you open it up again, and here is another floor of the library. Now the person receiving this card, of course, will not know that this is what this is all about. This is just how my head works and how when I'm designing things, I sometimes think of scenarios. Anyway, so then you open that up, and again, it's kind of like a book you would find in a library, and then this is the back panel where you would write your greeting. And so it's within this accordion that this piece is held in here. So that is the Halloween card, and I will list the products that I used for this card and post this on my blog so that you know, if you would like to make this card, then you'll know what supplies that I used from all of the Halloween stuff from our holiday catalog. I'm not one to really repeat a second card. I like to sort of make something new. So I'm going to make this next one kind of on the fly. I've done a bit of pre-designing, but we're going to bring in the Snowman suite. So let me set this one aside. We're going to be using, or I'm going to be using, the Snowman Season stamp set with the Snowman Builder punch. So we're going to build our own snowman for the front of the card. And I decided maybe I'll incorporate some trees as a background somewhere. So I've pulled in the winter woods. I happen to have this tree that I cut for another project and ended up not using it sitting on my desk. So I might incorporate this as well as a stamped image. Let's see how that goes as I create on the fly. I also am using the Swirls and Curls embossing folder. So I've already pre-embossed, and I've already done a lot of the cutting. So I will give you, to start with, the basic measurements for this card. Now, as you can see, the card base is made from DSP. So this is another one of those cards where you get to use your DSP. So that's the card base. And to sort of reinforce it, you end up with this back panel. So it's a pretty sturdy card. So I cut a piece of the snow DSP. I want the little hats and the holly on the front of the card like that. And so this is 5.5 by 12, but then you want to cut off a 1/2-inch strip at the end, and then you can incorporate the 1/2-inch strip inside the card. So this ends up measuring 5.5 by 11.5. Okay. Now you're going to do some scoring on here, but before we get to that, I'm going to give you some other card measurements. For the back panel inside the card, let me pull the Halloween card out again. So this back panel has a piece of colored cardstock. We're going to use Real Red. And this measures your typical 4 by 5.25. And then I'm going to use a piece of Whisper White to layer on top of that. And this measures 5 by 3.75. Okay, that's your back panel. And then this panel here, you want it to measure the same as this Whisper White one. So this is a second piece that measures 5 by 3.75. All of my measurements will be on my blog, so you don't necessarily need to write them down right now. Okay, So those are those two pieces. And the strip that I had left over from the 12-inch DSP, I had put it in here. And so right now I can't seem to see my other little strip. Maybe it's over where my cutter is, to incorporate it in this card. So we'll see if we find it throughout as I'm doing the video, but let's not worry about that right now. Okay, now I've already done some pre-design work. On the front of my card, I decided to use, well, throughout the card, I've decided to use the stitched framelets, the rectangles. That's this set here, okay? And so for the front of the card, I'm actually going to stamp the snowman and build him on top of this. So these are two of the framelets, and then I emboss this with that Swirls and Curls embossing folder. So that'll be for the front of our card. And then for the inside piece, that, you know, the page that turns over, I decided to cut out with the framelets these snowmen. So this is another piece of the pattern paper that you can actually cut out. You can either hand cut these little snowmen out, or you can use framelets. And I thought the framelets worked really well. So we're going to do those as well. Now, is there anything else I need to tell you before we start? Oh, I pre-stamped the little snowman here and the hat. So maybe that's the first thing that we'll do, is we'll color this guy. Now, I love to use my blends, and so I'm going to pull in, what color? Smoky slate, maybe, because I want to do a little bit of shading for the snowman. So let's just do a little bit of shading for the snowman. Some light shading here. And we will cut him out with the punch. And while I'm at it, I'm going to do the hat. I don't want to do a black hat because it kind of gets lost. So let's just color this hat. Now, I might, when I edit this video, I might fast forward this, because you don't necessarily have to see me color, because I'm not going to do a lot of shading in here. When images get really tiny, you can still use your blends. Where is my real red? Is this my real red? Yes. You can use the blends with the very brush point. That's the really pointy bit. Let's just color in these little berries. And then I need, now I see in here, this is a little bit of gray in here. Okay, and then I need to do the leaves. And we'll stick with the shaded spruce. Is this my shaded spruce? Yes. Let's do these leaves. Oops, I want the other end. Let's do these leaves in here. And let me think, the band of the hat, oh, I don't know. Let's do it. Let's coordinate it with the paper. Is this, no, that's light shaded spruce. Do I have a coastal cabana? I don't think we have coastal cabana, but maybe I'll use this Bermuda Bay. Yeah, this Bermuda Bay. Let's use this one. And let's just do the little hat band. All right, so there we've got our little thing. And what's missing here? What is missing? Oh, we have to do his nose. So I will pull out my pumpkin pie and do his nose. All right, so now we can pull in the punch. Oh, I know what, the one thing I forgot to bring to the table is I'm going to cut out the arms from the punch with some brown paper, maybe some early espresso. So I'll have to run and get that. Okay, so there is our snowman. And then, well, you know what? Since these arms are already cut out, maybe I can just color these. with a brown. Let's use, I don't think we have early espresso in a blend, but I'll just go ahead and color these in. We can do this, can't we? Sometimes it's easier just to punch them out in paper, but we'll do this. I haven't done this before. This is the first time. Really not that difficult to do. Okay, so we've got his little arms. And now we'll punch out the hat. When you have these builder punches, you want to look at the punch itself to sort of determine where you're going to stamp your image as it relates to the punch. So if you notice, I've got this narrow piece of paper, and I stamped the hat, you know, sideways so that I could fit it in here and punch it out more easily. So there is my hat. And we'll probably stick that on a dimensional. Okay, we're finished with the punch. Okay, now let's pull in these two pieces, and we'll just, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to put all of this aside for now. Let's concentrate on the card base, shall we? So that you know how that is done. Because if that's all you're looking for, then you can kind of quit looking at my video if you don't want to see the rest of the project. All right, so I'm pulling in my, what did I say? It was 5.5 by 11.5 piece of paper. Now, I'm going to pull in my trimmer, or not my trimmer, I apologize. I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. Just shove that stuff to the side. Okay, and my stylus. Here we go, and here's your scoring measurements. Okay, on the long side, you're going to score at 4.25. Now I'm going to use the wide tip because I'm using DSP here. So you're going to score at 4.25. Now, this paper has glitter on it, so your scoring is going to be a little bit more difficult to get it over those glittery bits. But if you go slow, you should be fine. 4.25. Then you're going to go to 5. I'm going to go slow. I can feel myself going over those glittery bits there. 5. Then 5.75. I'm hoping this folds well and doesn't split. 6.5 is your next one. So this is your accordion piece in the middle of the card. 6.5 and then 7.25. So I'll whoa, see there's a big glitter bit I'm going over there. But that should be okay. Okay, so I'll do these again, the measurements. On the long side, 4.25, 5, 5.75, 6.5, and 7.25. So that's all the scoring that you need on here. So we can put the scoreboard away. All right, now we know that this is, you know, the front of the card. So you're going to fold it on that very first score line. That becomes the front of your card. And then you're basically going to do a fold front, back, front, back, front, back. Okay, so I'm going to flip it over. And this is going to go back now, this next score line. Yeah, I can see my score lines really well on this glittery side. I'm going to be gentle. I don't think I'm going to use my bone folder. And then you're going to go forward on the next score line. And then you're going to go back on the next score line. And then forward on the last score line. Okay, now you want to kind of measure up that front and back, and maybe I will pull in my bone folder, and I'm just going to kind of press to get that finally folded. Okay. All right. So this is what you end up with. This is where your, see, can you see that? It's kind of like a W or an M, and that's the accordion part of it. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, let's work maybe on the back inside of the card. So what did I have for that? I had a piece of the red and a piece of the white, and let's think about decorating this back piece. I definitely want a greeting. Now I pulled out a Merry Christmas from that same stamp set, and I also pulled out Let It Snow. Let's see, think about the front of the card before we do that. So on the front of the card, we're going to do this. And should I do a greeting on the front? We could do a little round greeting maybe. Or we could do a Let It Snow across the bottom. Or maybe we could do Let It Snow on the inside. Maybe we'll do that. So let's do this first. So I noticed a little piece of extra cardstock here. Let's snip that off. That was from the framelit. Okay. Now, whenever I emboss, I don't like to use my tape runner. I prefer using my Tombow, which is, it just flows over the cardstock and adheres it a lot better. So let's use some Tombow on this. So just hold that down for a few seconds. And let's pull out some dimensionals for the snowman. Actually, maybe we'll put him on flat and then dimension the hat. And let's not forget the arms. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to put a little bit of tape runner on the back of my card. I'm just looking for my silicone mat here, which is over on my other craft table. So let's just put a bit of tape on the back of the snowman. And then you position his arms the way you want. Maybe I'll do one up, one down. Okay, and we'll stick him. Oh, I don't know. I think I want to dimensional him up. So let's put a couple. Oh, where'd he go? Here we go. Boy, oh boy, that almost reminded me of my very first video I did. It's called Funny Bunny. You can look for it on my channel. I was doing an Easter card and I lost this little bunny that I think I had cut it out and it went missing. And I was on the hunt for it for quite a while. Okay, so let's put him on there. And then let's do a dimension on his hat. Is this too big? No, just fits perfectly. Okay, let's do his hat. And you want to pull that brim over a little bit. Okay, isn't he cute? I love snowman. I've always loved snowman. I have collected quite a few snowman ornaments over the years, so when I do my tree, it's quite snowman laden. Okay, so he's going to go on the front of our card like that, but we won't do that yet. So at least I know what's happening on the front. Okay, let's take a look now inside. So if I have my snowman on the front, I'm going to do these on the inside panel, and maybe we'll do a Let It Snow on here somewhere. What the heck, let's just do a Merry Christmas on the inside. So I'm going to do this in real red, I think. We'll ink this up. Now I'm using my grid sheet to help me line up. You could pull out your Stamparatus. For single stamping, I don't normally pull out my Stamparatus, but if I'm doing a lot of stamping or if I'm making multiple cards for card swaps, I love my Stamparatus. And I do pull it out for red rubber stamps a lot of the times because they're harder to line up. But this is a, sorry if my head gets in the way, but this is a photopolymer, so it's easier to see. So let's just do that. I should have had a full mat under here, but I didn't. And look at that. Oh boy, I got a little goober there. So we're going to have to do something about that. Not quite sure what yet. So there's my Merry Christmas. So let's put this on our card base on this red piece. Again, I'm eyeballing my grid lines. Oh, and I've got more on my card. Well, isn't that challenging? Look at that. We'll just have to put some red snowflakes on there, I guess. Let's close up that red just in case we have some boo-boos. I could maybe put this tree in here, but then you don't have much space to write your message, so we'll have to think about that. Okay, let's mount this on the inside of the back panel. Now, if you do this and it really irritates you, more than likely when this video is over, I will probably go and fix this. And I wanted to tell you a recent tip I came across for removing a layer that you've glued down. Works really well if you've used tape runner, maybe not so good if you use Tombow. But what you'll do is you're going to take your heat gun and sort of like heat it up ahead of time, and then you're going to hold your heat gun underneath the card and heat up that adhesive, and then it will peel up very nicely. And also don't forget that Take Your Pick tool has this fantastic spatula. See, I use it a lot. It's time to clean it up with, it's got some goopy stuff on it. It's time to clean it up with some alcohol. But I use this to get underneath my layers and pull it up. So in combination with the heat gun, you shouldn't have any difficulty pulling up a layer. If you wanted to redo this, I would just pull up this white layer and redo this. If I can't find something to fix those marks, I'll either fix them up or I'll just add a whole bunch of extra marks on here just to get it to look like it was done on purpose. Okay, now this piece here, this middle accordion piece, this is where you're actually going to put this panel in here. And I think I'm going to do that before I stick these two down because I don't know where they're going to be placed yet. Although I think before I even do that, I want to stamp some snowflakes all over here. So let's pull out this lovely Coastal Cabana, which I love. And I already pulled out the little snowflake stamps. Oh, now I'm going to pull out my foam mat here. And I'm going to stick a piece of scrap paper underneath my foam mat so I don't get ink all over my foam mat. And I'm just going to do some random snowflake stamping on here. Not too many, but just to add a little bit of a background on here. And I'm going to do some on the back because you will be flipping this over within the card. Notice how I stamp and I pause for a second or two when I stamp, because I like to make sure I get the ink into the cardstock. I think you get a way better image than if you just do a quick stamp. Okay, so we've got that on both sides. Let's cover up this ink pad before an unhappy accident. Now, to put this on the inside of this accordion, what you want to do is you're going to put some tape on this piece here. You don't want to go past these edges here because your cardstock's not very high lengthwise. So you could do it on the back of this as well, but I'm just going to put a little bit on here like that. Now, before I stick it in there, I'm going to line this outer edge of this piece with the outer edge of that inside piece because you want them to match up. So you get that on there like that, and then fold over that accordion piece. See that? And stick that down. Now I've got a little extra glue on there. So we're going to take out our trusty glue eraser. It's really too bad Stampin' Up! Does not offer this anymore, but if you go to your local dollar store, you should be able to pick one up. They are great. See, that took that right off. Okay, so there's your inside panel. Now, you want to stick all of these down. So this one has to be stuck down on top of here. So now I could run a bit of tape runner along this panel. Come on. Hello, I'm not finished. There we go. There's still some in there. So put tape there, fold that down, give it a good rub. Okay. And now that's the inside of your card. Now see how it's floppy? What you have to do is you have to tape down the back. The back is completely taped down. So what I'm going to do is put some tape runner on here. And then put some tape runner down on this piece. I hope you're following this along and it makes sense to you. If not, you can make a comment on my blog or on my YouTube video and I can get back to you on that. But there you go. There's your card. See that? So it's kind of like a book. See, I go back to my library theme book. Okay. So let's finish up the front, or let's do the front. Do I want any ribbon? I might do a little bow down here. Or I could do this and put a greeting along here. That might be fun. I kind of want this Let It Snow somewhere. Let's just do something with this Let It Snow and then find out where we're going to put it. Now, I'm going to pull out my framelits again. That should stamp in there nicely, and I'll pull out some scrap. Will that fit on there? Yes, it will. So let's do this in red again. Actually, you know what? I think Blueberry Bliss is in this paper. Let's pull out a Blueberry Bliss. And let's, is it Blueberry Bliss or Blueberry Bushel? I think it's Blueberry Bushel. It's blackberry bliss. Yes, it's blueberry bushel because it's blackberry bliss. And let's do Let It Snow in this color. Again, let the ink sink into your paper. Okay, now I'm going to have to leave you for just a second. My big shot is just here, not very far away. Let's just give that a run through. I'll be right back with you. This is what happens when you're creating on the fly, even for a video. There we go. Let it snow. Now in these framelits, there isn't really a framelit to match this one, so you could cut another piece of cardstock to frame that, but I won't do it for this video, and I'm not quite sure still where to put this. Maybe I shouldn't put it on, and then you can give me some opinions. I'm not sure whether to put it here, to put it here. Actually, maybe we'll just put it here. Okay, let's just put it down at the bottom. And I'm going to use a bit of Tombow for this, I think. I'm just going to put a bit of Tombow. You know what? I'm going to put a little dimensional right in this bottom corner to lift it up a bit, because this has got a couple of layers on it. And before I even put that on, that was silly, I haven't stuck this piece down yet. So let's just use Tombow on here because of that glitter on the paper. Let's just do this. I think it's coming together pretty nice. What do you think? There we go. I think I'm kind of happy with that. I kind of like my creatures to be grounded. He's not grounded there. So you could always add a little piece of ripped paper and then add some glitter on it to show that he's standing on some ground there if you want. I might do that later. I think he's rather cute. All right, now we've got to decorate this piece now. So like I was saying earlier, there's a great piece of DSP that's got all these snowmen on here with snow at the bottom. So I decided to, rather than hand cut them out, and I kind of like the snowflakes in the background. So rather than cut them out, I decided to use framelits. Actually, I can just use, what am I doing? I can use my tape runner for this. Let's just frame him up. I think this card lends itself to all kinds of designs. Oh my gosh, imagine using some of the floral papers that we've got and then stamping big flowers in here. I think that would be really pretty. So it could be birthday cards, it could be, we have that stamp set with a lot of, about fishing. Oh boy, Erica, what are you doing? Pay attention. So you could do a masculine theme as well. So let's see, what are we going to do? I don't like centering things much, but maybe we could do him like that. If you wanted to, you could maybe repeat Let It Snow, so it would be Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, because that's a song, is it not? So I might do that when I'm done So there's one snowman, and then we'll put this snowman up here with another Let It Snow. What do you think? I think that's going to be good. I think I like that idea. Put him up here. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Yeah, I think I might do that. Yeah, that'll be very, very cute. Now, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that. I think I'm going to leave it for now, because more than likely I will take that panel out and start again, because I can't think of what to put in there. I don't want to put rhinestones because that makes it too bulky. Yeah, so you know what? I'm going to leave it like that. I guess I didn't end up using my tree after all. But there you go. There's the accordion style card. I hope you like it. Please comment. Let me know what you think. I'm happy to receive. You can send me pictures of the cards that you make. My email is ericaedney@shaw.ca. You can find all my contact information on my blog, which is from me to you papercrafts.blogspot.ca. Thank you so much for watching. Go make yourself a card and have fun. Bye for now.